It's showtime.
To show you.
Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room. This is episode 158. And we are going to talk about one of the weirdest films I've ever seen in my life. I can't wait to get into that. But first, let me bring up my able-bodied assistants, Major Hazzard and Master Sergeant Havoc. And I'm having that thing going on in the back of my throat again.
I'm reporting to duty. We're reporting. What's going on with your throat? Do you not have your peach tea, General?
Maybe it's because of this collar, this underoos shirt that I keep putting on. Yeah, it's choking me. I don't know what the hell it is. It's a phlegm thing going on the back. Makes me sound like Sean Connery just before he died. Oh, he was very, very weak and
Well, that ain't
like
good.
Very old, about to die man, old man. Anyway,
no. Oh, that ain't good.
I mixed up. The only thing I got stuck with here is electrolytes, mixed berry drink mix, electrolytes. Oy. Anyway, so that means it's kind of like Gatorade, and
Yep.
Gatorade is very salty. It's salty.
Oh yeah, but it's good for you. It's replacing them electrolytes and stuff. Making
Okay.
you alive.
So anyway, I scared Hazzard away. You were reporting for duty. I'm sorry, I stomped on you.
Who, me?
No, Hazzard.
Oh, Hazzard. Yeah. She kind of.
Now she refuses to come back in.
I'm here. I was trying to get the timeline ready. I was having a technical gremlin, they call him. We got a picture of him right here. It was one of these guys was giving me some trouble,
Oh yeah, yep.
Those nasty tech gremlins.
So pardon our tech gremlins. You don't have to feed them after midnight and all that jazz,
Yeah.
I invited the director of this film to come to this, but they didn't get back to me. Sky Braband. Braband, Braband, I guess. They must have been busy. But here's the thing. I saw Chompy online, the guy with the huge mouth. I saw him online, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good show if I can find this. Because it looked really kind of low budget. It really is an ultra low budget film. But so I was expecting to be terrible. I was expecting to be really bad, like so bad funny. But it was funny, but it was legitimately funny. I mean, I thought it was a really well-made film. I was very surprised. Yep. It is low budget, ultra low budget, but they managed to snag a star, Udo Care, even though it's just his voice. He's the voice of Chompy. I have kudos. My hat's off to him. I got to salute him for creating a really entertaining, low-budget film with really interesting characters, and it's a very interesting training film. If you can find it, go look for it. If you find it, you won't regret it. It's a fun film. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and bring up that timeline again. Hopefully the tech gremlins will allow it. At the beginning, we see somebody writing a note out, and you think that's going to be the opening credits, and they fish right in. And then it says the end, which I think is hysterical because it's the beginning of the film. It's before anything has really happened. And it turns out that Jackson, who is the lead actress in this is basically her movie. She is depressed. And it's the end. She's going to take her own life. Evidently, she has a really
Yeah.
rotten life.
Yep.
So she hooks up a noose around a light fixture, and we have this scene where she sets herself up, and you think you're going to be aghast by all of this, and then it turns into a comedy shtick thing where she can't hang herself. She's trying. So luckily for us, she survives.
Yeah. It just kind of illustrates how kind of pathetic her life is. Here she is
Yeah.
trying to do herself, unalive herself here, and she chooses the
Unalive
ceiling
herself.
fan. Well, that's what the kids say nowadays, because so they don't get banned on the TikToks and the YouTubes and all that nonsense.
Trying to unalive herself. Okay, I got
Yep.
it. All right, so we get the title card finally. Chompy and the Girls.
Yep. Chompy and the Girls. Yep.
And Symbol, the girls. Again, totally surprised. I was expecting this film to be another Spookies.
Spookies. Yeah. Oh well. Yep. But it ain't as bad as a Beaster Day. That's for sure.
It ain't as bad as Beaster Day. That's for damn sure. Not
Yep.
even by a mile.
Nah, it's a lot better than that.
So then we meet Sam
Yep.
and his wife Deborah. Sam is a kind of a nerdy guy. He just ordered some cowboy boots. And let me go back to Jackson. Now we find out a little later that Sam is Jackson's biological father, but
Right. Yep.
for some reason, she didn't get to meet him. I think her mom ended up, or her mom just left Sam, I guess. And so she told her his name, and she's trying to call people to see if she can get some, throw in a lifeline, for get some emotional support, and nothing's really taken.
Nobody's picking up. Yep. Well, no.
She's
Sam and her mother Clarice. I think they were like I don't know, like maybe high school sweethearts or college sweethearts, and they broke up shortly, and then she found out that she was in the family way here with Jackson. So
so Jackson reaches out to Sam. She sends him some text messages saying, look, I know this is kind of, weird and everything and abrupt, but, I'm your daughter. I'm your biological daughter. I'd just like to meet you, say hi. It doesn't have to go much further than that. I just, wanted to meet you. So,
this fellow Sam, he kind of looks like that fella from them pig movies, from them Babe movies.
I thought the exact same thing. The actor that you're talking about is Jamie Cromwell.
Jamie Cromwell, yep.
James Cromwell.
James Cromwell.
I loved him. I've loved him ever since I first saw him in Murder by Death. And he's been in a zillion films. First, he started doing comedy, and then he started playing like really very intense, serious characters in films, usually bad guys. But he's a great actor. He's an Academy Award-winning actor. And yes, you're right. He does look just like this guy. This guy is Steve Marvel. That's his real name.
Steve Marvel.
Playing Sam. Steve Marvel. Stage name? Probably.
Yeah. So them some snazzy cowboy boots though. I see, I'm here in Texas and I see the cowboy boots, and that's some snazzy cowboy boots.
It's a nice touch because it's one of those things that guys do when they're having a midlife crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
But in his case, he's buying a new pair of cowboy boots to try to be cool, and he's obviously not that cool. And
and you can tell that he's probably from either up north or from California, because nobody. Because everybody knows you don't wear cowboy, you don't tuck your pants into your boots. No, sir. That ain't allowed. So he ain't from around here.
He's a northerner cowboy.
He's a Yankee.
Yankee cowboy. Deborah is played by Julie Dolan, and you could just see in her face the whole time he's explaining, well, I got to go out. I'll be back later. Work. I got to do something. And again, she's looking at the cowboy boots. She's looking at him, and you can just see in her face. She's like, he's cheating. She gets that through in her performance. She's like, oh my God, he's cheating. And I'm going to lose him. So anyway, he goes to the park and he meets Jackson, and he's not ready for this. This is just too much, too fast. And she tries to explain to him that, her life is, kind of shit right now. And she was just reaching out, and, he gets spooked. And he's like, maybe at a later time, a later date. I'm not ready for this. And he starts to walk away there in the park. And then she looks over and she sees a little girl in a pink jacket. And she sees a guy purposefully march over to her. And then his mouth gets huge and he eats her whole like a Muppet. There was a Muppet that used to eat people and other Muppets. Remember that? Yeah. And he does that. And he just eats her. And then they do a cutaway, and then you see her feet going down in his mouth and stuff. It's pretty hysterical, actually. And yet very frightening. So she's like freaking, and she tells her dad, wait, Dad, or whatever, Sam. And he turns and he sees the guy.
Yeah. No, she doesn't even have to. She don't even have to say it. The way she's staring, and he's like, "What you looking at?" And he sees the legs going in the Chompy's mouth there. And
I thought you didn't see it. Sorry, it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen it, so I'm having some memory lapse.
No, he turns.
I might have to get it later. And, so I have really bad short-term memory. So sometimes I watch these training films, and then like a couple of days later, I've forgotten some of them, but that if you're watching us regularly, people, that. So anyway, again, very purposely, he sees them and he starts marching over towards them.
Now, I gotta menacingly. They do something smart here, in most of these training films, people see something weird. They're like, oh, what's that? Ooh, let's see, let's investigate. They hightail it out of there so fast.
Get the hell out of there.
Yeah, it's like one of them cartoons. You see the thing just run off and see the smoke. I mean, that's they just take off. They're like, yep, that's what you do when you see something weird.
Who swallowed a dog? What a hog! She swallowed a dog. That came to my mind a lot of times when I was watching this. I knew an old lady who swallowed a horse. She's dead, of course. So anyway, and by the way, Chompy is played by Reggie Kaufman. Again, he looks very nerdy and unimposing, but again, he just eats these girls whole, and he's a whole weird, different kind of character. Now his voice, we hear his voice later.
Yeah,
is Udo Kier from the Andy Warhol films, and he's done a zillion movies.
Wonderful
since then.
German actor, yep.
So
I've been in movies. Yeah. But you don't expect some weird monster or being walking around in a suit and flip flops.
Is he wearing flip flops? I know he's wearing a jacket, like a low cut T-shirt. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, the square
and the
glasses,
colors. The girls wear the pink jackets, and he wears like a kind of a magenta, purplish, low cut. Looks like a girl's T-shirt.
Yeah.
So again, the choices they made with this thing, all of these little details make for a very enjoyable experience watching this training film. Anyway, so she goes home, and Sam goes home. She's smoking cigarettes, just smoking both of them.
Two at a time, yeah.
She's freaking out, and she's looking up cannibalism on a global scale, an ultimate guide to eating out girls. So she's doing a search, and a porn's coming up.
Where's our disclaimer here?
Yeah, this show is not for kids.
Kids.
Not even clone kids. And we're gonna get into that in a minute. Thank you. There it is. This happens. You know, you go searching for something, and boom,
and
you know,
you're
you
gonna
get
get
a
porn.
porn site. Okay.
Yep.
And then, you know, other people see your computer and you're like, I can explain that. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So she's looking at all this stuff and trying to find out what this thing is, this guy. And there's a knock at the door. And I think we skipped over the where Sam goes home. And again, through on Deborah's face, you could just see, you know, he just sits down there and watches TV with her. And you could just see in her face, like, you're cheating, aren't you? So she gets that across. She's very good at getting the subtext across. So anyway, Jackson goes to the door and it's Chompy. He's followed her. He's tracked her to her place. And of course, his mouth gets all big and he's going to put her, he's going to eat her. Ultimate guide to eating girls out. And now I think this thing here where the mouth is really huge is kind of, it's not a prosthetic, but I think it's kind of a thing that hangs on your ears. It's probably made out of like fiberglass or something like that. Anyway, when he opens his mouth big at first, I think they do CGI for that.
Oh yeah.
Either that or the actor is able to open his mouth really big and that's how he got the part. I can see the auditions for that. How big can you open your mouth? Okay, you got it. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to get this part. Oh, we got to find a voice actor. Can we get a star? Can we get somebody with a little voice recognition? So anyway.
Is it okay or still alive?
I'm trying to figure out what that is. Anyway.
Oh, Jackson was calling Sam, but he.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's mobile phone. She's making a mobile phone call to Sam, and he's watching TV with Deborah, so he doesn't answer. So she's able to get past Chompy, get out the door, get into her car, and she drives to Sam's house. Evidently, she found out his address somehow. And so she shows up, and now Deborah's like, "Oh, okay, so this is who you're cheating with." She's like, "I'm his daughter," and she's like, "What?" I didn't want to tell you, but yeah, she kind of reached out to me today, and I told her I wasn't ready for it. And I paraphrase. I do that. So Deborah is trying to soak all of this in. And they're like, well, you're on your own. We don't want to get involved. And she pulls a knife on him. Jackson does. She goes, you're coming with me. You got to see this guy, this big mouth guy. We got to find out what he is, and we got to figure out a way to beat this guy because he's chasing after me and wants to eat me. And they react as naturally you would. And so Deborah decides to let Sam go out in his cowboy boots, and he's wearing like a nightgown thing, or
he's got a t-shirt and like some I guess pajama bottoms.
Yeah, and she gives him a knit cap and tells him, be careful.
Well, because she looks out the window and she sees Chompy here marching down the road, and it's like, and because Jackson's been all hysterical, like, we got to get out of here. Chompy's coming.
Yeah, I think that this was the point where they nicknamed him Chompy. So he's got this goofy knit hat on, and Deborah gives it to him because she legitimately loves him. She's his wife, and she wants him to take care of himself. And that kind of shows through in all the performance. Anyway, so he finally takes the hat off because he feels stupid. After we get the laugh from it, then you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And they are looking for, I guess they're looking for Chompy. Or no, she said, let's go to my friend Lotus. He's throwing a rave party, and he knows a lot about these kind of things, about supernatural stuff. Right. And he might have some information for us. So they decided to go to Lotus's rave party. Lotus is played by Harry Williams, Hari. Harry! My name is Harry Williams, man. He doesn't sound like that. I'm sorry. That was really bad. And Deborah's like, maybe I shouldn't have let him go off by himself. You know, he's having a wife moment.
Yep.
And she's in a robe, and she decides to go out chasing after him. So it's an interesting progression, and they get to the rave party, and he's like, seriously, really? You want me to go in here? You realize how out of place I am right here. So they go into this rave party, and, you know, there's pretty crazy, wild stuff going on. You know, people doing drinks and drugs and stuff. And then they meet Lotus. Lotus.
Yep.
And he's 3 sheets in the wind, as we used to say. And she's like, yeah, I need your help. You know, there's a big guy with a big mouth, and he's just chasing after me, and we got to find out what he is. So they put Lotus in the car, and he said, I want to go home. I'm not feeling well. And
Well,
I thought
now, wait. Now,
okay.
There's an important plot point here that we kind of missed.
All right.
Lotus sees this guy putting something, probably a roofie or something, in this girl's cup, and so he right here. So he goes and he instead of just throwing it, he drinks it.
Oh, geez.
And the guy, you know, belts him one, and he falls down. And he bites this guy's leg, and Jackson's like, okay, no, we got to get out of here. So that's her dragging him out, and Sam following, going, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. So the rave party was at Lotus's place?
No, it was
Else's place.
oh yeah, actually, yeah, it was Lotus's place. Yeah.
Okay. So
Wait,
where do
nope. So,
they take Lotus to his house, right?
No,
this is clear. They take him somewhere where he crashes, and I think it's his house they take him to. So
because the party is supposed to be, they couldn't say it was a church party, and that way the cops can't bust it because they can say, well, it's a religious thing, but it's somebody else's house, and he just happens to be there.
Okay.
But then once they get in the car, then they take him home, and then they run into Birch here, the little girl.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, this is the little girl that he swallowed at the park. It's the same little girl, same jacket, you know, blonde hair. You can't miss her. You know, she's pretty distinct. Mm-hmm. So they see her walking on the side of the road, and like, hey, you know, we just saw you got to eat in the park, and she's all scared and everything, or she's pretending to be scared. Mm-hmm. And they take her with them.
What's funny is Jackson here, she ain't having none of it. She's like suspicious of her, right? Like, what is this little girl doing out like 3 a.m. by herself? And he's trying to be all nice and, oh, don't worry.
Sam's a nice guy. He's got a big heart. He's a good dad.
Yeah, you know,
and we get that throughout the movie that he's a great guy. You know, he's a heart of gold.
Yeah.
So, he talks, but he pays for it later.
Yeah.
So they get to Lotus's house, and Lotus is trying to talk to them from the back seat, and he's about to throw up.
Yeah,
you throw up in my car. So shit going on that way.
Yep. Yeah, because they see Chompy come marching down the street, so they grab the girl, dump her in the back, and they take off. Yeah. They're like, "Yep,
yeah,
yep. There he is.
There he is.
In his flip flops.
In his flip flops. He's like Crocs. Is he wearing Crocs?
No.
Wearing flip flops.
Wearing flip flops and his red top. Yep.
Udo Kier said, I can't do the character because I do not wear the flip flops.
I am German. We do not wear the flip flops.
I can do the voice if you want me to do the voice, but I don't want to play the character because it's the flip flops. God, that's terrible. That's 2 stereotypical voices I've done in one show. That's bad.
Oh, General.
So I'm gonna piss everybody off today. So all right, so they're in the car and they're heading for Lotus's place. Deborah she's pinging his phone so she can follow them, so she can keep after him.
Yep.
Deborah's smart.
Yeah.
And Birch, again, like you said, Jackson doesn't trust Birch. She thinks something's peculiar here because we saw her get eaten.
Mhm.
And Birch is playing scared. I can't see what's going on here. I think they're at Lotus's house.
Well, yeah,
Right?
they're Lotus's house.
Okay. He's taking him back to put him to bed.
Is taking, yeah, because he's all like, he's
He's
all
like,
loopy.
okay, you sleep it off. We'll wait here for a couple hours till you sleep it off, and then we'll talk. We'll go to see some of your books, and we'll try to figure out what this is.
Right.
And hopefully he won't show up and try to eat us.
Right. Yeah.
So he's pretty good at honing in on people, tracing them. He's a tracker, that one. So they leave Sam alone with Birch. And again, Jackson legitimately is a good friend to Lotus. I mean, she's fairly nice to him. You know, she's putting him down, you know, gently. So again, we see that she's got a good heart too. She's a good character. She just maybe fell in with the wrong people, and you know, her life kind of went sour.
Fell in with a bad crowd at some point.
We feel for Jackson. You know, the minute she, you know, doesn't hang herself at the beginning, we're feeling for her. It's like, oh.
Yep.
So Jackson comes out, and Sam is on the floor, and Birch is leaning over him. I don't know if you see. We did Cat. Were you on the show? No, that was before you were a regular on the show. We did Cat's Eye. Stephen King.
Yeah, yeah.
where the little troll is sucking in the breath of the kids.
Right, yep.
He's trying to hurt Drew Barrymore. He's sucking the life force out of Drew Barrymore. That's a terrible impersonation. Anyway, so I was like, what the hell? First a porn site, and then I see this little kid doing this. So she shoos Birch away. Birch is afraid of her. Birch runs away. And poor Sam, he's obviously whatever she did to him, it wasn't good. And he looks down, he feels he can't walk. He looks down, he's got a little baby foot. And I don't know why that tickles me so much.
I think it's supposed to be like a little girl's foot, like because Birch.
Yeah, it's a Birch foot. You know, it's a little
Birch foot.
She didn't finish her process, so they got one foot and one leg.
Right. Yeah. So
I don't know why that just tickles me pink.
Well, it's funny. It's a funny looking.
There it is. So now he has to walk around with his little girl foot. And I just think that's hysterical. So he's said Jackson's got to help him around. And again, it happens later in the film too, when Deborah shows up and she meets one of these Birches. We find out later these Birches are all clones, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil it now. These girls are clones, and they were other people, but the first clone that was made by this evil entity was Birch. So right. Birch goes and finds other people and turns them into Birches and takes their life force, or and it goes into another dimension, which is in Chompy's mouth. So they go outside of the garage, and there's Chompy waiting for him. Hey, I've been waiting. Come on. No, he doesn't talk. Not until they get inside his mouth.
Right.
So they're looking at him like, oh, Jesus, what are we going to do now? And he's pointing at his mouth. Like, get in. They're like, what? And Jack,
it's like fat bastard. Get in my belly.
Yeah, there it is. Get in my belly. Oh, you look like wee babies. You got a wee baby foot. Get in my belly. So Sam, being, the kind of reasonable guy he is, he's like, well, wait a minute. Maybe he's telling us to get in his mouth for a reason. maybe it won't harm us. He won't like he won't really chomp, even though we call him Chompy. He won't really chomp. Maybe if we go into his mouth, something will happen. And sure enough, yeah, they end up in another dimension. They go into his mouth and they end up in another dimension. And Chompy's able to talk to them in that dimension. And again, it's the voice of Udo Kier. And he explains to them that this birch is actually an evil entity that is turning people, cloning birches by taking people's life force and turning them into evil clone birches. So they can continue to go out and, feed on people's life forces, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, okay then. And you need to help me round them up. He's like, you need to help him round them up and put them in my mouth so that, they go back to this dimension and then we can get everything sorted out. So, so now they understand. And they're like, okay, good. All right, we're allies. We're going to work together on this. And we feel much better now because you're not out there trying to chomp us. And, we know what's going on. So he walks out of the garage into the road. And Deborah shows up and hits him with her car. So it's like, oh, geez. Now, we also did another movie earlier on this show called Terror Vision, where there's an alien being that's killing people, eating people, killing people, and a space hunter from outer space comes to get him and bring him back to the prison where he escaped from. And then somebody comes in and throws something at his helmet, cracks his helmet, and causes him to die. And I don't know why, but the alien kind of reminds me of Tony Randall for some reason. But anyway, but he dies. So the one thing that can actually save the universe from this terrible being dies. And I think this is a little homage to Terror Vision with that, because they run over poor Chompy.
I know. It's like,
Maybe I'm thinking too much. But again, it's kind of funny. It's ironic and funny, and they end up having to put Chompy in the trunk of the car, and have to put their heads together to figure out what to do with the body. So now they are driving around. I think Jackson is hungry. So she wants to go get something to eat. She goes, you know what? I'm tired. This is terrible. And this happened. I just want to go somewhere and get something to eat. Mm-hmm. So let's find a little all-night diner and get something to eat. So they go out and they end up in this diner. And I'm thinking that the Genevieve from IMDb listing is actually the waitress here. That's the one on the top left. She is absolutely adorable. She is so, so funny. Sarah De Leon is the name of the actress. I think that's who this character is. And she deserves kudos for her small performance, just this one scene. And she's a lot of times, in movies, we'll get a great waiter or waitress character that totally makes the scene. And that's definitely the case here. Mm-hmm. So Jackson is very cynical and very upset and angry, and she's pointing the finger at Deborah for running over Chompy. Deborah's like, "Oh, come on, really?" Like I knew. And Sam's trying to be the referee and everything, and this waitress is just like, "Oh, you know what? Come on, guys. You just gotta understand. Life is life, and it's an adorable, cute thing." So anyway,
Jackson. She, for some reason, and she doesn't even know, she starts pouring syrup all over the table.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And poor little Genevieve, she comes up there and she's looking. It's like,
why would you do that?
Yeah, it's like, I gotta clean that up now. And oh, well, yeah. And even Jackson feels bad. She stops and goes, "Oh, yeah." I didn't think about that.
Sorry.
So he pays her and they leave.
I forgot about right. So anyway, so they go out and they find a birch. They find another birch. Or it might be the birch they had in the beginning. I don't know. Anyway, they find her, and then they kind of wrestle her to the car, and a guy is very late at night. It's like 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I guess.
Yep.
And there's a guy like taking his trash out or something, and he's like looking at him like, "What the hell?" It's because they look like they're kidnapping a child. Child trafficking. So I think that we're still got slides of the same thing going on here. That's
it's Jackson getting out of the car and
getting out of the car.
all the
then we have multiple birches, right?
Yeah, all the clones are running around. Yep.
Right. They all can sense each other. And Sam can now sense Birch.
Right, because he's got the
little birch foot.
Little birch foot. Which, maybe a little cream will fix that. We don't know.
Well, you got a case of birch foot there. That's the problem.
There we go.
So now they're watching from the car in horror as all these birches show up in big jackets, and they're attacking Jackson. And
Deborah jumps in. She's like starts wrestling with
Deborah actually goes to help her. That's what it is.
Yep.
They decide, or she decides, I'm going to go help her, and that kind of makes us like Deborah more, because again, she didn't mean to run over Chompy.
Yeah.
She's a good person too. Sam and her are good people.
There's the guy.
So then there's the guy that's like, what the hell?
Yeah, he takes out his cell phone. He's about, I guess, going to call the cops or something. And Jackson runs up on him and starts screaming and carrying on and takes the phone away, and he runs off. And Deborah's looking at her like, are you crazy? He's like, no. Sometimes you just got to act crazy, and, normal people don't mess with you.
So Lotus wakes up, and he's feeling a little better. He's feeling okay. He gets up. He's walking around the house. And nobody's there.
Yeah.
So I think he goes out. Anyway, there they are in the car, and they're going back to Lotus's place, hoping that he's awake. And they got one of the birches in the car, right?
Yeah. See, they're dragging her in there.
All right, so they drag her in. They realize that the other birches will sense her and come to them, I guess, if they just kind of tie her up there in the house, in the apartment. Not the house, it's a house.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there's a knock at the door. Sam looks out, and it's a birch. So they came fast. And they react. They're like, nah. He shuts the door, and they look out the windows, and there's birches outside all over the place. And they're like, nah. It's like Night of the Living Birches.
See, that could have been the subtitle right there. Chompy and Night of the Living Birches.
This is like Night of the Living, pre-adolescence.
And what's more terrifying than that?
I'll tell you, when they did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, at the beginning, the first real zombie you see is a little girl, like Birch here, a little blonde girl, who has been turned into a zombie, and she attacks, a guy in his bed. He just woke up, and she's just sitting there in the doorway looking at the guy and the main girl of the movie. And I'm telling you, that scared the living crap out of me when I first saw that. Cause like, oh my God, little kid zombies. Oh man.
Yeah.
And she moved fast too. That was the other thing, in the original Living Dead pictures, they move slow. They didn't move all that fast.
Yeah, they just kind of shuffled along.
But in that one, good God, depending on how you were bit and where you were bit, yeah, you could be a fast zombie. But I didn't like that at all. It's like, oh geez. At least I felt like we had a chance. Now, good. So that's kind of like this. They're surrounded by these creepy looking birches. They all have that creepy looking expression now. Like we know we're after you. So they're putting up, mattresses against the windows and stuff. Again, this is a little homage to Night of the Living Dead, I think, the original. and they're boarding up the walls. A lot of zombie movies actually. They're boarding up the windows. Now I'm at a loss because I'm wondering what the hell happened to Lotus. I know there's a scene where he talks to Jackson, and they go into a book and and I don't know why this is not on the timeline. This is confusing me because I know I screenshot it anyway.
Yeah, no, that was earlier. Yeah,
it was earlier.
Yeah, that's when after the first time they brought him home, she finds his book in his bookshelf and she's going through it, but he
this is before he goes to sleep.
Yeah, well, no, she already puts him to bed, and
Okay.
she finds the book and she's reading the book,
Okay.
and he's you know.
But isn't there a scene where she goes to the book with him?
I think that might be later. Yeah. I don't remember now. Yeah. See.
Anyway,
I just watched this today. You know.
Yeah. And I watched it a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, there's stuff missing in my mind now. It's playing with my head. Anyway, okay, so they're inside the place, and somehow Lotus is now out in the car outside.
Yeah.
Somehow he got from inside to outside, and then he ended up in a car with all these girls around the car, and that's creepy. And they're all looking in the windows.
Well, I think he just wanders. He goes outside, gets in the car because I think he was going to try to find them because he didn't realize that they were back in the house or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
All right. So now he's in the car outside of the house, and there are birches all around him. And when you wake up from being roofied, let's say that you woke up from roofied and the car was surrounded by Bill Cosby's.
Yeah.
I want you to let me in the car right now.
You got a Coke.
That's got to be pretty disorienting to wake up and have all these little girls around the car going,
"Hello, 911. Got a bunch of white girls."
So yeah, he's out in the car. The girls are surrounding him, and they're surrounding the place too. There's a lot of them. And so now it's getting serious. So Jackson decides, wait a minute, we've still got Chompy's mouth open in the back trunk of the car. I can grab one of these girls, these birches, and throw her in there and see what happens. That kind of thing. That kind of logic. And like, what are you kidding? Don't go out there. And she's decided she's going to do that. And then she goes out and she's telling her, pop the trunk. And he's like, what? Pop the trunk. And he does. And did we get past the part where Sam and Deborah are inside the house and there's a birch in there with them?
Yep.
Did we go past that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a birch in the house that they tied up.
Yeah.
That was the bait to get the other birches to come to them, and it worked too well.
Yeah.
There it is. So while they're all having this commotion about all these birches, the birch inside gets loose and goes into the bathroom where Deborah is. Deborah, I think, is in the tub, hiding from all this. And she starts to do the thing where she's sucking the life force out of her and turning her into a clone. And luckily, Sam shows up, and Sam clonks her, I think.
Yeah.
And now she's left with a little birch hand. So he's got a little birch foot, and she's got a little birch hand, little girl hand. And again, there's a character on Saturday Night Live that remember the one with the little hands.
Yep.
And the big head, big forehead. I can't remember her name, but anyway. So yeah, there's the little hand where he reaches out and he touches her hand. It's a little girl hand. Oh, it's okay, sweetie. I love you anyway. We're gonna get through this. Don't worry. So it's nice. Now that's actually two pictures that I kind of spliced together to make one picture there. I like to do that every now and again in our timeline if I can do it.
Yeah.
So basically that look is saying, yeah, we'll be fine. I know we're surrounded by clones, but we'll be fine. We'll be okay. He's a very optimistic guy. All right, so outside, Jackson is fighting with these birches, and she ends up going into Chompy's mouth with one of the birches. And she's in the other dimension. It looks different now. It's darker because Chompy's dead. And she reaches out to the birch in there, and the birch is like the original birch. Says, I'm scared. You know, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And she gives her a big hug, and she goes, look, you know, I'm here with you. You know, we're going to ride this out together. We'll be all right. And she somehow takes on the dark passenger, for lack of a better term, the dark thing that's causing all of this.
Right.
She takes it into herself. I think we talked about this before the show, and your analogy was it's like at the end of The Exorcist when the priest takes. That's good. I mean, that's kind of like that. So she takes on the dark thing, and she kind of gets evil looking. See, there?
Yeah.
And kind of like rage. And as she's taking this darkness, she goes, "That's it. You're stuck in here. You're stuck with me, and you know this is going to be the end of it." And all of the people that Birch changed, you start seeing them in this other dimension. They start popping in, and then popping back out again. I think, if I remember correctly. So they kind of hop in and hop out. So what's happening is all of these Birch clones are turning back into the original people.
Right.
So, and it's all because of Jackson. Jackson did something, you know, that, you know, wasn't selfish. It was, you know, a heroic thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sam finds out. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, what happens is when she takes on when Jackson takes on the evil entity, all the Birches turn into her to turn to Jackson's, because that's what happens.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. Sorry, forgot that.
And that's why they're like dropping into Chompy's mouth.
Yeah.
Yep. She's pulling him back into. Yep.
All right. So yeah, you got some evil Jacksons in the house there.
Evil
and so Sam finds out that Jackson has sacrificed herself to make this happen, and he decides he's going to go in and try to save her. So he jumps into Chompy's mouth and ends up into the other void there, the other dimension. And he's like, I'm not going to let you do this alone. You know, I'm your dad. And they actually have a moment, you know, dad-daughter moment. And they're like, okay, we're going to do this together. All right. There he is appearing on the scene, and he's very surprised to see her looking the way she's looking with the darkness all around her.
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me. So that's it. We think, okay, they're sacrificing themselves together. What a great father thing to do, a father-daughter thing to do. And a rope pops down into the dimension, and they grab onto the rope, and it's Lotus. Lotus has gotten out of the car. He found a rope somewhere in the car, maybe in the trunk, and he threw it down there. But he's got to lift two people up out of another dimension, so it's not easy. So then Deborah shows up, and she helps him to pull these two out.
Yep.
Together, they're able to pull the two of them out. There he is.
Yep.
And he's having trouble here. Go, two of you, too heavy. Huh?
Yep. Oh, I was just going to say, what's interesting is that the rope here, it's the same color. It might even be the same rope that Jackson was gonna hang herself with earlier. So I think it's kind of a little full circle thing.
Oh,
or they just
I didn't realize that. I thought it was the white rope.
Nope. Same red rope.
Again, there are decisions that were made here about color. You know, with the pink jacket, so that they shows up. You know, and All that stuff was nasty. Yeah. But my throat, I got to clear my throat. Anyway, so he's having trouble lifting them up by himself. So Deborah comes and helps him. And now, as this is going on, you can see the people wandering around. There she goes. As this is going on, you can see the people wandering around going, how the hell did I get here? What are all these people doing? It's in the middle of the night. Oh, God. So, yeah, they get pulled up out of the void, out of Chompy's mouth. So what a coup for this director to get even if it's only for like 2 minutes, they got Udo Kier to do a voiceover for their film.
Yeah.
Again, it's only a quick 2-minute like thing before he gets killed, but it's like, wow. Way to score a name for your picture. So yeah, there's a lot of hugging going on, and everybody's happy to be themselves again. And we see the original Birch, and she goes up to her parents. Evidently, she turned her parents into Birches. There's something really twisted about that.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of like hanging out in front of Lois's house, and he's like, "Well, what are we gonna do with his body?" You do have to dispose of a. Do you call him an alien? He's kind of a dimensional creature.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, they never really explain just what Chompy is, or who he is, or where he came from. He just sort of shows up like, yep, I got it.
From another dimension.
Yep.
A character from another dimension. So okay, so everybody seems to be having moments with everybody else, and you kind of just see Jackson off to the side, kind of alone. And she's like happy to see that everybody's having their good moment, but she's by herself. And that's coming up in a second. And there's Chompy in the back of the trunk still. I mean, she turned everybody into Birches, old ladies. There's a woman telling her folks on the mobile phone, "I'm okay. I know I disappeared." There she is by herself, and she's smiling at first, but then you can see in her face, "Well, man, here I am all by myself." And of course, Sam and Deborah reach out and say, "Hey, maybe we can spend some time together." And again, they have a little moment, and she hugs her dad, and she's got somebody now. Somebody can help her out in times of need and trouble. And she has a moment with Lotus too, where she gives him a nice hug, for being a good friend, etc., etc. And then they decide, let's get rid of this body. So, or maybe they're going to eat. I don't know. But they get in this car.
They were going to go eat.
Yeah,
that was my question. It's like, yeah, let's go eat something. I'm like, you got a body in the back of some interdimensional thingamabob in the back of your truck, the trunk of your car.
God knows what happens when that implodes, that other dimension. It might take your car with it. And then we come full circle. The end.
Yeah.
Except it's white on a black card. So yeah, I get it. Definite choices made here by a slick director, a very clever director. So I get it. Again, very entertaining. I was very surprised. I was expecting to be get up, but it turned out to be pretty good. Turned out to be very amusing.
Yeah.
So Chompy as a girl.
It's got some silly moments and some stuff, but for the most part, yeah.
Well, the little hands and feet turned back too, by the way.
Yeah.
They're normal again. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah. Well, the voice said, once the girls were all taken care of, and everything will go back to normal. So
rounded up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is a pretty good little movie. Yep.
All right, let's call Hazzard back in. She's not showing herself.
Major.
I'm here.
Yeah, but you're not showing yourself. You're here. But you must be on special assignment again.
Secret assignment.
Of course. Yes, I
Of
was. I
course.
was on mute. Also, I was saying something very erudite and amazing, but I couldn't hear myself. You couldn't hear me apparently. But yes, I'm on special assignment, of course, and I got my little snuggy buddy with me here, and we're enjoying each other very much.
You talking about your Bigfoot?
Well, my Bigfoot and also my my BDE guy.
Roland is there?
You mean Roland?
Well, yes, he is my boyfriend. We do spend time together from time to time.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. Well, said hi.
Well,
Yes, I
enjoy
will.
the
He'll
show.
be watching. He's watching. Well, he's watching it right now, but he's watching football out of the other eye. He's got one eye on this and one eye on the football there.
Roland likes football.
Yes, it's a
Really?
long story. You'll have to ask him about it. It's complicated for
geez.
him.
I did not think he'd be a football guy. Anyway, we're talking about Roland Pruitt, who has another show on YouTube from the Cosmos called Roland Pruitt's Kaiju Review. They just did Dora, and which was I think episode 8 or 9. And now next time they're going to do Mothra versus Godzilla, which we've done on this show.
And we got an ad for him here. If I could play it, I always like to give him some promotion.
All right, fair enough.
Giant monsters are attacking the Earth. There must be an expert on these creatures to whom we can go to.
You were expecting somebody else?
Okay, so it's all about the Japanese country, or at least for now, for season 1 and season 2, I believe. So yeah, if you like the Japanese kaiju movies, but definitely check that out. That's what they specialize in. So next week on this show, it's going to be a Wednesday, not Thursday, because Thanksgiving. I think we're going to be an hour early too. It'll be 6 o'clock Eastern time instead of 7 o'clock, and we're going to do a good wholesome family training film, Munster Go Home. So that should be a lot of fun. Starring Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis, the Munsters, Yvonne DiCarlo, Butch Patrick, and Chris Pine's dad is in it. He's the romantic lead for Marilyn in that. So yeah, definitely tune in for that. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And let's see, we have puppets tonight on No Icing at 10 o'clock. They're going to be talking about puppets. And on next week's Two Guys and a Gal Talking Movies, they're going to talk about Natalie Portman, who's been doing movies since she was a kid, since she was a birch. So, all right, son of a birch.
Son of a birch. I do got to mention something though, and I wasn't going to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I thought, no, I can't let this lie. There's that English feller. He's a professor or something on that other show, the Kaiju show, and I heard that he was saying some stuff about me.
About you.
Yeah, because I happen to mention
you were saying stuff about him, right? Saying stuff about Hazzard. Right?
It was totally uncalled for. I saw the same thing. Thank you, Master Swaji. It was totally uncalled for. They're very unprofessional over there, and it's just crazy. So that's one of the things that Roland and I are discussing. It's with something that Roland and I are discussing.
So anyway,
I didn't mean to cause no friction. I just had to bring it up. Well, I did. I wasn't gonna, but I figured, well, you know what? I got to clear the air. I ain't got nothing against that feller, and
nothing against that feller.
I ain't exactly. Nothing against him, but don't take my name out of your mouth. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Absolutely, I totally agree. It was totally uncalled for. You know, if they
Oh, so
try that
watch
up here in
the
New
show.
York, we're gonna bust somebody in the nose. So
Like,
just,
we
I'm
watch
just
their
saying,
show. Hope they're watching ours too, and they understand. So
they understand exactly where we stand, and that's what Roland and I are gonna be talking about later. You know what I'm saying? And he knows how I feel about it. So there we
okay.
go.
Well, he's watching football now, but okay.
Well, he's half watching football, but you know, he and I got words to discuss.
Is there a game on tonight? Anyway,
It's Thursday night football.
okay. So thanks for watching, everybody, and keep an eye out for those big monsters.
This here's Master Sergeant Havoc. Thank you for watching this episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room. Now, why don't you go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell next time a big old giant monster comes calling. See y'all later.